as the two members of the On Athletics Club set to race here, and for no stranger to this Diamond League circuit. Nagus getting more comfortable with international competition now, as we mentioned, coming off an incredible indoor season in which he set American records at 1,500 meters en route to setting the American record indoor in the mile, and also set the 3,000 meter indoor record at a meet in Boston, ranked collegiately at Notre Dame. Very large field, in fact 16 of them in all. That does include a pace setter or two. In fact, there are two, Julien Ranck of France and Zeratsky, who we saw earlier in the 800 meters, now coming back for probably another lap or so of pacing duties here in the men's 1,500 meters. As the racing gets underway as well, the pace lights will be lit up there. Blue will be the pace for the first two runners in front. Green is 3 minutes and 31 seconds. The world lead, 3:32.01, was just surpassed yesterday by Kenya's Timothy Cheruiyot at the meet in Los Angeles. So the best now in the world is 3:31.47.
I'm going to be watching Nagus to see how he contends now that we're outdoors and he is facing the best in the world. We saw how dominant he was earlier this year indoors. Will that translate to outdoors? I think it will. I expect him to run very well here.
So we get the racing underway. Suwato is back leading that group that includes Ali Hoare in the sunglasses, Nagus, his OAC teammate, right behind him, and Ingebrigtsen, who's seemingly been around forever, but he's only 22 years of age. And again, off that Olympic championship in 2021 in Tokyo, the World Championship last year at 5,000 meters, as he wasn't able to put off the win and the double at 1,500 meters on the track in Oregon. Zeratsky, again, looking behind his shoulder, just trying to make sure that the group stays with him ever so slightly as they'll come down the main straightaway, as they'll have a couple of laps to run here when they reach the finish line.
The pacer looking back over his shoulder, making sure that he's at least keeping contact. He's beginning to step into lane 2, and he will conclude his duties. As you see, Nagus now into 4th, but effectively 3rd with one more pacer left to drop out.
Yeah, the racing should get interesting here in a moment with the final pace setter stepping off, we assume here shortly, with about a lap and a half to run. Ingebrigtsen and Ali Hoare, and then Nagus, and then it's a little bit of a break between the rest of the field. So those three kind of winding it up, using that pace setter for a little bit of momentum, coming off the final turn for the penultimate time.
Pacers have done a good job, and now the Olympic champion Ingebrigtsen will try to take the sting out of any kicks left behind him as they get the bell. 1 lap to go.
So the Olympic champion Ingebrigtsen's going to have the lead here, but Hoare and Nagus, and now the rest of the field trying to close that gap and regain contact with the trio up front. The Frenchman Azzedine Hobbs is in 4th as they come down the backstretch for the final time. Kipsang getting back in the mix there, now challenging alongside Ankam of Morocco. As a half lap to run, Ingebrigtsen still in the lead, Hoare and Nagus. But Ingebrigtsen confidently at the front of the pack here as he comes off the final turn with a lead by a couple of strides. As he looks over his shoulder, not seeing anyone closing in. Now here comes Nagus as he goes by Hoare, and he will finish in 2nd.